Now at 10, a new hospital means new job opportunities for the city of Frontenac. Plus, law enforcement in Oklahoma hosts an animal crimes investigation class. And grant money goes to preserve a historic classroom of color in Southwest Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Frontenac, Kansas is expanding and creating new housing. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Anthony Saviello. The Frontenac City Council approved the annexation of about 500 acres of land north of town, east of Highway 69, more than 400 of which will be used for the construction of a housing development. The development is projected to create 150 to 180 new homes. The land will be developed in 5 phases spanning more than 10 years. The mayor of Frontenac says the project has been in the works for the past 3 years, but it couldn't have come at a better time. When officials announced the location of the future Freeman Hospital in Frontenac, they also announced the hospital would bring between 500 to 1,000 new jobs in the area. For the community, they hope to use this as an opportunity to help boost their local economy. Officials say the location of the hospital would not only bring new residents to the Frontenac area, but it could bring in new visitors to the community. The District 2 Commissioner for Crawford County says he hopes the development will encourage other new businesses to open and for current businesses to see more customers.
It's not just any one certain facet. It's a multiple of things that, businesses will benefit. The food business, the people coming to town, the gas stations. Everyone should, feel fortunate at this time that this is coming.
Officials don't have an official date for final completion for the future hospital just yet. We'll take a first look at weather with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty.
Well, definitely turned out to be a hot Friday for us today. Again, temperatures back up into lower 90s, but still pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. 91 was our high. Average high is 91. 12 is the record set back in 1954. Now, we do have heat advisories this weekend, but mainly our western counties. So the counties that are in orange, you're going to have heat indices 105 to about 110. Everybody else, 100 to about 105 degrees. But we look pretty good. Not a whole bunch going on. Look at the heavy amounts of rain that we got during the morning hours. So there were spots like right here just southwest of Carl Junction that picked up 7 inches of rain. So that's why we had some flash flooding across the region as we worked through the morning hours. Tonight, pretty quiet. 76 by 7 a.m. We could get a few scattered thunderstorms tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking more about that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Some local law enforcement agencies are hosting a class informing the public about animal crimes investigations. We sent photojournalist Ty Parks to check it out.
It's a priority for us to help facilitate the enforcement of Oklahoma's animal cruelty laws. And one of the ways to do that is to train the agencies that are charged with enforcing the law. So we have police chiefs, sheriffs, other law enforcement agencies, tribal police that are all interested in this topic. We provide a lot of information about how to process a crime scene if it's an animal crime and how to handle the animals which may be seized. So there's a lot to know, and so we do a lot of these all over the state.
The rise of animal cruelty has probably doubled since the COVID crisis, as far as people being isolated and not having means to get out to get help for their animals or other situations they're involved in. Yesterday's training was the intersection of domestic violence and animal cruelty. Animal cruelty is directly related with most of your major crimes, coming from animal abuse to child abuse, domestic violence, your drugs, your elderly abuse. Somehow, some way, there's animal cruelty involved in that picture. The animal cruelty investigations is get the word and the initial training out to law enforcement, social workers, animal cruelty officers for the cities and the counties, also your SROs and stuff like that, to see the basic warning signs and to go from there, because in most of your cases, if there's some kind of animal cruelty going on, 90% of the time, there's some kind of other things going on the reporting of things, because people were isolated, nobody was moving out. So the children, animals, anything else was not outside or off that property. So nobody saw what was going on. And since then, it's just kind of been an effect that's been kept going, and we're just still climbing the mountain on it, trying to get it curved.
I think we really want them to understand that Oklahoma has some very good, strong animal protection statutes, that the people of Oklahoma are solidly behind the enforcement of those statutes. We are a state of animal lovers, and we support our law enforcement agencies in enforcing those laws. So we want attendees to go away feeling confident in their knowledge and that they have the support of citizens in enforcing these important laws.
The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office and Wyandotte Nation Tribal Police Department partnered with the Humane Society for today's class. A historic landmark in Southwest Missouri gets a generous donation. Today, the Arvest Foundation donated $10,000 to Carver Birthplace Association funds to support interior restoration of the 1872 Neosho Colored School. The school was listed in the National Register for its association with George Washington Carver. The important role the school played in African American education in Neosho and its significance in African American ethnic heritage.
It's a rare find that we could find something in such great shape, really, that 70 to 75% of the original fabric is there, and it will be restored. And just to say that you're in a place that particularly it's significant because George Washington Carver attended here.
The grant will help the CBA complete the interior restoration of the schoolhouse in its mission to turn it into a museum. Grand Lake in Oklahoma turns into a giant drag strip for some of the nation's fastest boats. That story's coming up. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in July in the city of Galena. We'll tell you why in just a bit.
I'm Lisa Oligan.
Drag boat racers from all over the country travel to Grand Lake in Grove, Oklahoma for a national drag boat racing competition. KOAM intern Mitch Adams has the story.
These things are as bad as heroin. Once you see them, that's it, you're hooked.
Competitive boat racers from all over the nation will test their watercraft in the Wolf Creek Drag Boat Nationals at Grand Lake. These mean machines will make more horsepower than a supercar, and Grand Lake is the place where world records are set. Brent Malone, the executive director of Convention and Tourism, explained why Grand Lake is the perfect place to hold this event.
When there's a race like this, Wolf Creek Park is set up for fishing, but we've seen this in the last 6 or 7 years. This is set up perfect for drag racing. I mean, it's protected, the water's always good here, it's great, it's not deep, so if something does happen, something goes bad, we can get them rescued quick.
Contenders arrived from coast to coast, from California to South Carolina, ready to try their hand at victory racing other fully custom-built boats. The MC of the event, Roger Monroe, has over 40 years of experience as a drag race announcer. The familial feelings that come with these competitions is enough to keep him going.
Boat racing, it's a family. I've seen these guys, this pro outlaw, maybe another pro outlaw, going to the final, the one blow the motor, did not have a motor to race. These guys will give up their spare motors to their competitors to race them in the final and possibly beat them. You won't see that in cars.
Although speed is king at this contest, the main goal is to have fun and show off just how much power one vessel can make. Reporting from Grove, Oklahoma, I'm Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
You can find more information about the Wolf Creek Drag Boat Nationals on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. United Way today held its National Day of Action. It's a chance for communities to come together and help those in need. That includes help with projects such as lawn care, pest control, and cleaning. Several of our own KOAM staff members took part helping out at the Wesley House in Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh Community Resource Center. It's Christmas in July at the James C. Chrisman Performing Arts Center in Galena. The Cherokee County Arts Association hosted a showing of the classic play White Christmas. You could either get in by buying a ticket or donating a toy to the Cherokee County distributor of KOAM's Toy Box campaign. Doug returns with another look at your forecast and later. Lakes and pools serve as a great way to escape the blistering temperatures, but we've got some tips for how to do it safely.
Well, of course, a hot, humid day for us today. Plus, we had scattered showers and thunderstorms during the morning hours. Some areas picked up some very heavy amounts of rain, especially on the west side of the metro. Officially at the airport, about 1.5 inches of rain, which is pretty good for the middle of July. 3.5 inches for the month. Still deficit, but all of our rain through the spring and into the summer has kind of come in clumps. So drought-wise, we're doing okay. We're a little bit on the dry side. All right, humidity levels have been going up just a little bit. So our dew points are sitting upper 60s to near 70 degrees. And if you look at our dew point tracker, that puts us kind of in that sticky to muggy range. And that's what we're going to see, mainly that muggy range as we go through the weekend. But not too much going on outside. We have pretty much clear skies. Now, we do have a big dome of high pressure building out across the western third of the country. As this builds in, we are going to stay mainly dry, and we're also going to heat up as we go through the next few days. Let me walk you through time. As we go through the overnight hours tonight, I'm going to stop tomorrow morning. Most of us are sitting mid to upper 70s. Now, through the morning hours north of I-44, we're going to get some scattered thunderstorms popping up again. Some heavy amounts of rain, especially Fort Scott to Nevada, mainly north of Joplin. So here's late morning, fizzle apart during the afternoon, and then it looks pretty good. High temps are going to be up there, mid-90s, pressing 100 once you get out into our western counties. Tomorrow night, clear, just warm, temperatures down into the mid-70s. Then as we go into Sunday, maybe a notch or two hotter, mid to upper 90s, southwestern Missouri, and then upper 90s to near 100 once you get out across Oklahoma and also parts of Kansas. So it is going to be a very hot, very humid weekend. 96 tomorrow, there's hit and miss storms early. 98 on Sunday, plus our heat indices for most of us are going to be in that 100 to 105 range as we go through the next few days. So let's look at it. We'll stop this tomorrow afternoon. Heat indices near 100 through the metro, a little bit higher once you get into our western counties. Then on Sunday, we do it again. Very hot, very humid, heat indices about 100 to about 105 degrees. Now, we do have a little bit of a breeze, kind of like what we saw today, so not bad. Winds gusting 15 to 20, a little bit higher once you get into our western counties, and still a little bit breezy out there as we go into Sunday as well. Now, as we go down the road, gets a little hotter on Monday and then into Tuesday, but then we get a cold front. This slips in late Tuesday, giving us chances for showers and thunderstorms, but also behind the front, we're actually going to cool down just a bit, which is going to be pretty nice. All right, 96 on your Saturday, 98 on Sunday, triple-digit heat Monday and Tuesday. But check this out, highs only into the 80s next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
All right, looking forward to it, Doug. Thanks. Kayaking or rafting at the river is a common way to spend hot summer days, but there can be some heat safety risks. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on how to stay safe in the heat.
Take more life jackets if you need more.
With temperatures being high, people are looking to cool down by spending the day by the water. Dylan, who works at River Ranch Resort in Knoll, Missouri, has seen firsthand how unsafe it can be on the water due to the heat.
It's just uncomfortable just to be in the shade as well too. And at that point is when we start sending people home and then come back later in the day.
He even adjusts his work schedule to avoid dangerous temperatures.
When it starts getting hot, we'll start before daylight sometimes when it's cooler so we can not work in the hottest part of the day.
Ellsworth Amos III, Pineville's 911 director, says that he's responded to countless water emergencies, and he notices that drowning risk tends to go up with intense heat.
Normally we're probably just a good swimmer, and whenever the heat and being exhausted takes that extra strength away from you, you just became one of the bad swimmers.
He says that some water floating risks can sneak up on people.
Whenever you're out there on the water, the sun is actually reflecting off the off the water itself, which can give you the sunburn. And also on a cloudy day, a lot of people don't realize that they actually need to have sunscreen on.
Joshua Humphreys is excited to kick off his weekend on the river. He says he has hydration and sunscreen at the top of his mind.
So there's several of us that we don't get out in the sun a whole lot, and so we can burn really quickly, and that can make for a really miserable weekend.
As a 911 director, Amos reminds people to check in with their group about how they feel while they're on the water, and says that your life jacket is your lifeline. In McDonald County, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Amos says that some signs of heat exhaustion to be aware of are rapid pulse, muscle cramps, and confusion. Fair season in the 4 states rolls on with the Newton County Fair in Neosho, Missouri. Exhibitors today showed off beef cattle as well as different types of goats. There are also horse showmanship and hunt seat classes. For one exhibitor, the fair is all about the fun.
Hanging out with people that you get to see and that you might not get to see often and all the time that's fun, and then getting to just be around the animals and everything.
The fair wraps up on Saturday with showmanship, awards, a watermelon feed, and live music. Coming up in sports, the Joplin Outlaws signs a professional baseball contract, plus 500 swimmers compete at Joplin's Schiffer-Decker Aquatic Center. Brock Baldridge brings us that story and more.
The Joplin Outlaws continue their first season as a member of the Mid-America League, and one of those intents for joining this league is to get more players in front of professional baseball scouts. The Outlaws announced that their starting first baseman Carter Mize has signed a professional contract to play in the Pioneer League with the Rocky Mountain Vibes. Mize led the Outlaws with 5 home runs this season. He supported a .263 batting average and drove in 25 RBIs in his 23 games that he's played with Joplin this season. So the Outlaws are back on the road. Joplin looks to break the losing skid tonight as they face Fort Smith once again. And Joplin got out to an 8-0 lead in this game, but Fort Smith scores 11 runs in the final 3 innings of the ball game. Marshall stunned the Outlaws, 12-11 the final score in that one. This weekend, the Schiffer-Decker Aquatic Center hosted hundreds of swimmers from across the 4 states and beyond. They all flocked to Joplin to compete at the Ragnarok Swim Meet. It was quite the showing today as 500 swimmers took to the water for the annual Berserker Swim Meet. And not just for the experience, competitors range from ages 7 years old all the way up to high school students. Berserker Swimming is hosting the event, which started today and wraps up on Sunday afternoon. The top dogs qualify for the Long Course Championship meet.
So this is huge for the Joplin community. We partner with Joplin Parks and Rec and Joplin Sports Authority to put this big of an event on, as I'm sure you can imagine. We have a lot of our teams who are coming from Kansas City, who are coming from St. Louis, who are coming from Arkansas. We spend a lot of time working with these groups to make sure that these teams have a great experience. And a lot of the other teams tell us this is one of their favorite meets of the year, which says something about this Joplin community.
The Kansas City Royals playing one more series before the MLB All-Star break. Kansas City looks to build on their 3-game winning streak. Royals and Red Sox square off tonight. Kansas City continues their 8-game road trip before the All-Star break. The bats get hot as Boston and Kansas City meet, and it's Kansas City who wins the game 6-1. Bobby Witt Jr. and MJ Melendez each homered in this game. Both teams back at it tomorrow afternoon. Then the St. Louis Cardinals open up a 4-game series against their rivals from the Windy City. It's the final time this season that the Chicago Cubs visit Busch Stadium. The Cardinals offense was shut down tonight, but the Cubs beat the Redbirds 5-1, the final score in St. Louis for that one. So it's been quite a day in sports. We had a great day out the pool. It was a little bit of a change. Sometimes we don't always cover swimming events, so it was nice to see that 500 swimmers from across the 4 states got to go.
I think when it's just 2 other people at the pool, it's crowded. I can only imagine how they feel in that environment.
Well, you know what? To have that many swimmers there it's nice to see lots of tents, and I'm sure there's probably lots of people watching us right now in hotel rooms and eating at different restaurants, and it's really good for the community to get that many swimmers to come out from all across the Midwest, really.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks, Brock. That's a look at sports. We're back with more after this.
Well, it's going to be a hot weekend for sure. We may get a few hit and miss storms to start the day tomorrow. High temp at 96, but the afternoon is going to be dry. A little breezy, 98 on Sunday. So we're talking about heat indices 100 to about 105 degrees. So if you are going to be outside, make sure you drink plenty of fluids, and then triple-digit heat to kick off the work week.
All right, thanks, Doug. If you're ever on the go and need to know about our weather, just download our KOAM Skywatch weather app. It's free on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Food Truck Friday rolled back into Central Park in Carthage today with Kids Fest, along with the usual complement of food trucks, both crowd favorites and new arrivals. Visitors could also dig into some homemade ice cream and shaved ice. For one event organizer, the day means putting a smile on people's faces.
It makes us feel wonderful. I mean, it's just so nice to just be hearing the laughter and hearing people run around and just seeing people's smile on their face. And people love food and they love to hang out and community, and that's what Food Truck Friday is all about.
Food Truck Friday takes place the second Friday of each month, April through September. In all the time that I've lived here, I've lived here over a year,
Yeah.
and I have not had the chance to do that yet, so I'm going to have to do that.
I was about to say, I think getting a snow cone on a day like today would
Would
probably
be
be the way to
perfect.
go. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Final sports note.
Well, Patrick Mahomes has been in the news as of recently. Last night he wins the ESPY for Best Male Athlete of the Year, and well, today it's announced that he's having his third child. So way to go, number 15.
Dude's winning all year. He's just winning all over the place.
He doesn't win trophies.
Yeah. All right, that's our time for now. We'll see you right back here for the weekend show. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.
Captioning on KOAM.